thank you for joining us today. And we will be recording this session for those attendees that couldn't make it, the people that registered that couldn't make it. I do have a couple of people with me today. Breck Turner is our library specialist here in the Med Center. He will be monitoring the chat and putting any links. And then Kayla Robinson is our graduate assistant. She'll also be monitoring the chat, putting in links, and she will do the recording. If at any time you have questions, feel free to interrupt me, and you can unmute yourself to ask a question, or you can use the raise your hand feature. All right, so I do want to let you know about some upcoming workshops we have later this month, the introduction to ArcGIS Story Map, and then we have in March some other workshops that will take a look at particular databases, Agricola and PsycInfo. We have some EndNote workshops, and then we have a couple others here on the slide for you. All right, so our agenda for today is what I'm going to do is just provide an overview of the basic searching within Web of Science. So we're going to do a little bit of advanced searching, but for the most part, it will be basic searching. I'm going to show you the cited reference feature, which is why a lot of people use Web of Science. And then I will also highlight the new interface features. So Web of Science has they're concurrently running a new interface, and it will be fully implemented by the summer of 2021. So we'll show you a couple of different features, highlight some things that'll be different in that database. All right, so what is Web of Science? So Web of Science is a citation index, and citation indexes link to articles through the article's bibliographies, citation notes, and internal references. This makes it easy to move forward and backwards chronologically in the research trail because you can both easily see the paper cited by an article and the articles that go on to cite that article later. So citation indexes also help in determining the impact of articles in journals by highlighting which titles are the most relevant or most cited in the field. We use the cited references to search to track prior research and monitor current developments over 100 years worth of content. So Web of Science has content back to 1900 and includes 59 million records. And for our instance of Web of Science, we have these selected databases here on the screen that you can see. So we have the core collection, and then we have Biosis, CABI, Data Citation Index, Medline, Russian Science Citation Index, the Logical Record, all of these that are listed here on the screen. So these are the databases that UK Library subscribes to. And then within Web of Science, the core collection indexes primary journal articles, journals and article citations in several different databases spanning a wide range of disciplines. So the core collection includes all of these databases listed on the slide. So the Science Citation Index Expanded, Social Sciences Citation Index, Arts and Humanities. There's also conference proceedings and book citation indexes. And then there's also, in addition, some chemical indexes. So that's why Web of Science is a really great resource and a popular resource for a lot of different disciplines. However, to really, when you're searching content, you want to make sure that in order to not get a ton of irrelevant results, you want to make sure that you have selected which databases that you want to search within Web of Science. And then within the Web of Science core collection, you want to make sure that you're searching the correct ones. So I'll show you once we get to that part of Web of Science and to the interface, I'll show you how you can select and deselect those. And so again, I mentioned that there is going to be a new interface in November of 2020. The UK libraries got our preview. So it's available for preview now. You can actually use it. It's not 100% functional. There's some things in the new interface that you can't do, but it's allowing you what it is. They're giving you the opportunity to give feedback. So they really want your input and your feedback. And one of the things that has happened since they've requested feedback is, so for example, the number of citations that are able to be exported to EndNote, it moved from 500 to 1,000. So librarians have been asking for that for years, but researchers as well, because it's nice to have some of those, the features. So if you have suggestions for improvement, they will take it and they will make changes based upon that if enough people have suggestions. So again, the new interface is, it's more clean. It has a one search box, kind of your typical new interfaces. Everything is going to one search box. It is mobile friendly, an improved design. And one thing that I will note is that it's supposed to be a lot faster. So once you click search, you're supposed to get your results like extremely fast. Web of Science, I mean, I thought it was fast to begin with, but they are touting this new improved faster functionality. And so again, and on this slide, you can see in the summer of 2021, all of the features should be fully functional in the new Web of Science. I am not sure. Feel free, any one of my other librarian colleagues on here, if you want to put it in the chat, if you know when they will stop using the old interface. I'm not really sure, but it will, by fall, I assume that the old interface will be gone. All right, so I'm going to go into a live demo. So you can access Web of Science from the UK Libraries Medical Center webpage, or you can, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can search databases and go to W. You can choose from this drop-down list and go to Web of Science Core Collection here. Or you can go to selected databases on the page and select Web of Science Core Collection. If you're off campus, you'll be prompted to log in with your username and password, your link blue. So here is and let me kind of show you. All right, so on the default setting, this wouldn't be open. So I want to kind of show you what it would look like when you first log in. Right here is the preview of the new Web of Science. You just click this to preview it. This is our basic search page as it currently is. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this preview. And then this will be the basic search page of the new version. They already pretty much have this done, so it will look something like this. Let me go back to the old one. So again, I mentioned the Web of Science Core Collection or the all databases. So you can see this is your option to choose. Do you want to search all of the databases? And then if you go to more settings, you can, that will allow you to search certain ones. So if we don't want Medline, or we don't want the Korean Journal database, or the Russian Science database, or zoological record, we can uncheck those. So I'm going to just go back ahead and check them back. So this is how you search all databases, and then this is how you would uncheck one if you didn't want it. And then if we go to the Web of Science Core Collection, you can see here These should all be checked by default. I unchecked those previously, and so it kind of retained my my check marks. So they will, by default, they will automatically all be checked. And then you wouldn't have a limiter on this either. So this would be your default setting. So all years is what it should say for default. So one of the things that we like to do, I in particular, it's everybody's preference, and it really depends on the subject matter that you're searching. I typically search the Web of Science core collection when I'm looking for nursing and pharmacy research. So if you're looking for like animal biology research, or you're doing something like that, you might want to select all databases, and you might want to, so that you can get in the zoological record and the Biosis citation index. So it's just up to you, and it really depends on the content that you are searching. All right, so once I have my Web of Science core collection selected, then I decide, do I want everything in here? If I'm not interested in conference proceedings, I can easily uncheck those. If I'm not interested in book citations, I can uncheck those. So I'm going to leave those unchecked. And then I'm going to go ahead and set my date limits. So you can do the last 5 years, you could do a custom year range, you can do anything that you want here. So I typically like to do the last 5 or so years. So I'm going to do 2016 to 2021. So I've already, this is all set. So then I can do a search. One of the things that is in Web of Science, like most of our databases, they operate on truncation style. They utilize truncation, they utilize Boolean operators, and they also utilize another feature, which I'll show you in a minute, which is called proximity searching. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a couple of rows here. You can see now that I have the options for and, or, and not. So those are my Boolean operators. And then over here, you can see you have the topic, title, author, publication name, organization. You can search all of these. So the topic, when you select topic, it will tell you it's searching the title, the author keywords, keywords plus, and the abstract. For any of the words that you put here, it's searching all of these fields for that. So let me go ahead and do a quick search. So I'm going to do tobacco or smoke. So whenever I have 2 words that I'm combining with or, I put them in parentheses. So I'm looking for tobacco or smoke near 3 free. So for this topic, I'm actually looking for tobacco or smoke-free policies on college campuses. So I don't know for sure if the words tobacco or smoke are used. And I know that it's free, they're tobacco free or smoke free, but I'm not sure exactly how close those are to each other, how close those words are to each other. So sometimes it could be smoke, and then there's a couple words in between, and free, and then policies or things like that. So what I'm trying to do is look for tobacco or smoke near within 3 spaces of the word free. So that's what I'm trying to search for, and it'll be clear when I show you all the results. So now I'm looking for campus. So I'm going to truncate for campuses, for colleges. Again, truncation will get the alternate endings, or universities. So again, I'm truncating to get alternate endings. And then I'm putting parentheses around to nest those or Boolean operators. So I'm looking campus or college or university. And then I'm going to look for policies. So this search strategy that I built here, I'm looking for tobacco or smoke near within 3 spaces of the word free, and college or campus or university, and policies. And I also am searching within the past, 5 or so years, and I've selected the databases within the core collection that indexes within the core collection that I want to search. So then you just do your search here, and then you can also click on the search tips if you're not familiar with how to search the database, and that will be a nice little help for you. So there's a few things that I want to kind of go over with you. So this is what the results screen looks like. In this particular instance, on the left, we can see our results. We have 129 results. We have open access and associated data filters. So this associated data filter will actually, if you click on that, you'll see that there's one data set that actually has the for the of the article. So you have that associated data. So sometimes if you're looking for data sets within Web of Science, that's a good filter to use so that you can get the data. There's also publication dates. You can see how many were published and how many articles were published in the year. There's Web of Science categories. I typically won't choose these categories because there's a lot of research that we do that's interdisciplinary, so I tend not to use those categories. This document type, I do use those. So most of the time for research, some of my students don't want review articles, so they have assignments that they don't want review articles. So we can easily limit to articles and early access articles. So if I just click those and I click refine, that's going to eliminate the review articles and only get the articles in the early access. The organizations, you can see which organizations which organizations the authors are affiliated with. You can see that here. You can also see funding agencies and authors, source titles, and then if you view more options, you can see countries and regions. Sometimes I use this to limit as well. You can limit to languages, and then you have these other options as well. So this is kind of an overview of the filters on the left side of the page. On the right, kind of in the middle, you can see we can sort by date. The default is date. You could also sort by relevance, time cited, or usage count. And then if you click on more, here's some other options for you. So I typically always like to search by date because I want the most recent articles to be first. And you can see here, so tobacco control policy, university. So these highlighted in yellow, those are my search terms. Those are the words that I searched with. So right now you can only get a little bit of information, the title, the authors, the journal title, the volume. If you click on this view abstract, you can easily see the abstract. So you can see here's all of the words that are highlighted in yellow. Those are my search terms. If I close that, and then if I actually select this title, then I can get the full record. So the full record has the author supplied keywords, the author's information, the funding agencies, publisher, journal, all of that information. It also has the citation network. So this article hasn't been cited yet, but because it was just published in January of 2021. So that information isn't available yet, but it does link the cited references. So this article cited these references. So if I click on the 44, So these are the articles that were cited to write the article that I was just looking at. So this is your backward citation. So this is kind of like your how you look and you backtrack and see, okay, what articles were cited to write the article that I was just looking at. So we go back. And then let's go back again. Let's find one that's actually been cited. And you can also go here to change it 25, 10, 50 per page. Okay, so let's look at this one. So the time cited will tell you, so this article has been cited 5 times in Web of Science by Articles in Web of Science. So for this citation, you can see that it's been cited 5 times. And then here's your references that were used to write this article. So you have both in here. And so this is how a lot of people tend to use Web of Science. They use it for something called cited reference tracking or pearl growing or snowballing. So this is your pearl, and then you can see who cited it. So you can see which articles cited this paper. So you can see these 5 articles cited that paper. And then we go back, you can see the 31 articles that were used, the references to write this paper. So that's kind of how the snowballing works, or there's many words that are used to describe this method. So you can take a look at those. So then now that if you have some articles selected, you have your search results, but maybe a few of them aren't really what you're looking for. Let's just say these 5 these are really what I'm looking for. What I can do is I can add those to a marked list. And then if I look at my marked list up here in the right corner, there's some things that you can do. So you can save these. If you want to save it, you have to actually put it create a personalized Web of Science account to save it. So if I click save here, it's going to tell me you have to log in. I personally do have an account. One thing that it allows you to do as a registered user is you can create alerts for searches. You can create alerts for search topics or create author alerts. You can also create citation alerts. You can also save any of your searches. You can save your records here. You can also export up to 5,000 records at a time to EndNote. It's one of the things that's nice about Web of Science is that Web of Science and EndNote are made by the same company, Clarivate Analytics. And so there's a lot of easy integration between EndNote and Web of Science. So if you do want to create an account, it doesn't have anything to do with your LinkBlue credentials. You create your own personal account and then you manage that information. So one of the things that you can do is you can add up to 500 records at a time. One of the things that I want to point out is that it doesn't automatically select abstract. So you want to check abstract if you're trying to pull out records that have the abstract in them. You can also email them to yourself. You can export them to EndNote. You can export them to an Excel file, print, email. So there's a lot of things that you can do with those. Let me go back here. So if you wanted to do like a quick export, you just click export and you can do EndNote online or desktop, and you can easily export those references. Let me show you how to get the full text. So there's a couple of options for full text access. Let's look at this first one. So we have the View Now UK. We also have, if you have your Copernio, or not Copernio, if you have your LibKey Nomad browser downloaded, that will, once you're on this page right here, your full text option, your download PDF or access will be right here within the browser. And you can just click on that for one-click access. If you have Copernio, which was, now it's called EndNote Click and formerly called Copernio, if you have that installed as a browser plugin, your EndNote, it will click, the PDF kind of crawler will be right down here in the lower left-hand corner. However, you can also access it from here. So this EndNote EN Find PDF, that's your EndNote Click. And so again, it's a free plugin. I don't have it in Web of Science or in the Firefox browser, but I do have both of them in my Google Chrome. So if you're interested, I can show you if I can get that back working. So those are the two options for easy one-click access to PDFs, or you can use the traditional View Now at UK. That will take you into our catalog to see if we have the full text access. And in this case, we have it from Elsevier. So then you would have to go to this link, click on this link, and then it will take you to the PDF. So here's the PDF. So the browser plugins just kind of save you a couple steps in that process. All right. So there's a couple of two other things that I want to show you. So if you have a search topic and you kind of want to see a visualization of the results, so you can do this analyze results over here. And so I have 112 records. That's not too many. I'm interested in seeing kind of a visual representation of them. So one of the things that it's nice about this is that you can see, so the organization's enhanced. So who are the authors? Where are they coming from? Who are writing these papers on my topic? So you can see all of the different universities that the authors work for, or the organizations, and then you can see University of Kentucky. So there's 9 records from the University of Kentucky. So if we clicked on this, you can easily view these 9. So that's a nice feature. And then let's go back. You can also see funding agencies. So Web of Science is more than just finding articles. You can actually find some other information. So you have funding agencies. You can see what authors are writing writing on this topic. So you can look to see maybe a collaborator. And then you can also look for any of the other things. So grant numbers, organizations, publication years, and then source titles. So if you have a search on this topic and then you want to see what articles, what journals are publishing articles on this topic, you can see the articles, the journal titles right here as well. So you can see kind of get a glimpse into the more holistic research picture, not just Web of Science isn't just for finding articles. There's a lot more. It's a more powerful tool, and you can do a lot of other things with it. Okay. So I believe that I've covered searching a topic with you all. If you have any questions about how to export, I also want to show you how to search for an author. So let's go back to the search button. And oops, I didn't mean to hit search tips. I want to reset this. So you can also search by author. And you can search by author, or you can do an author search. So this is the one that I want to do. I'm looking for this author search. So I'm going to do Reed. I'm looking for Deborah Reed. She's a nurse researcher here at the University of Kentucky. So I'm trying to see how many articles, or, what is her publication record. So if I click, and you also want to make sure that you put an asterisk after the first initial. It's never in Web of Science when you're searching this way. We always want to just use the first initial or the middle initial, the first and middle, or you can just do the first initial and an asterisk or the middle initial and asterisk. That's always the best way to search. So in this case, we found, Web of Science is telling me they found a lot of results. So then I'm going to limit to USA. And then I'm also going to limit to the University of Kentucky. So again, they're finding a lot of results, so I need to narrow this down. So if I click find, so you can see that there's two records here. So there's a David H. Reed and then the Deborah B. Reed. So Deborah B. is the one I'm looking for. And so you can see here the list of publications that she has from within Web of Science. If you are an author, you can actually, if you are Deborah, you can claim this record. If you are an author and you want to search for your own name in Web of Science and you want to claim the record, this is something that you can do. It's very difficult to do author searches, accurate author searches within Web of Science or within any database because of author ambiguity. A lot of times people publish with different names. They publish with either maybe their maiden name, or they don't always include their initial when they publish. So there's lots of different reasons for author ambiguity. And one of the ways that Web of Science is trying to disambiguate the information is by having a Web of Science ID, so a researcher ID. They're also encouraging authors to create ORCID IDs, and so all this information is interrelated so that you can have accurate publication records for you as an author. So that's just one thing that Web of Science is trying to do. So you can see here we have the 47 publications, and then we have the H index, time cited, and then the citing articles. So your citation network, this will give you definitions, the little I will give you definitions for all of these terms. And then it will look at author position. And then again, if you want to improve this author record or correct it, you can correct it here. So you can see that all the information within Web of Science is included here. So you can see the time cited. You can actually create a full citation report. So if we click on this link. So again, if you're looking for an author, so if you as a researcher want to look at maybe your information, you can get your total publications, your H index, citing articles, and then you can quickly link to any of these articles within Web of Science. So again, this is visual information. You can save it to an Excel file or save it to a text file. So there's a lot of ways that you can use Web of Science for your personal research or researching a topic. So again, all I did was click on a title of the article, and it took me back to this original record within Web of Science. And I can do lots of things. I can get the PDF, I can export, add to a marked list, a lot of different things. Let's go back to search. The one thing that I want to show you is that this searches and alerts and the search history. So if we click on our search history, it's kind of difficult to find this in Web of Science. I work with search histories a lot where I combine my search histories when I'm doing extensive reference searching or extensive literature searching. So this is where you would combine your searches. I'm looking at these. So you can click on, so you can combine them with and or. This wouldn't make sense because I haven't, some of these that I have don't really make sense to combine with and or, so I'm not going to do that. But this is where your search history is. And then if you click on searches, you can sign in again. If you sign in and create an account, you can create alerts or save your searches. Then if you want to do a new search in Web of Science, you always have to go back to this search page. So that's something that they have improved with the preview, the new Web of Science. So I'm going to real quick go to this. Okay, so I want to show you very quickly a search in the new Web of Science. So again, you can add rows. So I'm just kind of doing that, the first search that I did to show you a little bit about how they look how the results look different. And again, I'm going to try to do the exact search. So if I do something wrong, it will tell me. Oh, near 3 of what? 3. There we go. Oh no, what else am I doing? Okay, so let's do a more basic search. It might not have all the functionality yet. So cancer, oops, sorry. And so cancer or neoplasm and breast. Let's try this. Okay. So what I wanted to show you is that in the new version, and I think this is probably the best thing that they could have done, they've put this search right up here. So you can change your search without ever having to leave the interface. Like you in the original one, you have to go back to the search page to actually edit your search. And now you can edit it right here from this landing page, which is fantastic. The other thing that they've done is that they, right here, they changed the time cited to just citations. And then they brought out those references. So the references used to be embedded in the record. So whenever we clicked on the title, we got the record, and then we saw those references. So they brought it out. So now you have the citations or the time cited, and then the references for this article, and then you have related records as well. So all of this information, this really great information that we use for citation tracking, is brought to the forefront. Again, you have this show more. So it also gives you a little bit of a preview of the abstract. It didn't do that before. And so you have the show more, you can get the full abstract. But before there wasn't even a little snippet, but now they have the snippet. For the most part, all of these filters on the left side of the page are what you would have originally seen in these in the original Web of Science. It's just the results look a little bit different. And again, the export feature, you can now export 1,000 records at a time, 1,000 citations at a time to EndNote, where previously you could only do 500. So that's really the main differences between the interface features. Again, it looks a little cleaner, it looks a little nicer, and it's supposed to be a lot faster. All right, so I'll stop here and see if anyone has any questions. You can either unmute your mic or you can raise your hand or put a question in the chat box. So I'm going to try real quick for the purpose of demonstration because this EndNote Click is pretty nice. So I'm going to just quickly try to open up my other browser, Google Chrome, to see if we can get the EndNote Click to work. I didn't have it installed in my Firefox browser, and I just wanted to show you all one of the features. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like it's working. All right, so this is kind of the feature that I wanted to show you. So this download PDF, this is the Libkey Nomad plugin, browser plugin. So if I click on this, I can easily click and download this PDF article. It's right there for me. I don't have to use the View Now UK. I highly encourage everyone to use the Libkey Nomad plugin or this EndNote Click one, which I will show you in a second. The Libkey Nomad works with Web of Science, PubMed, Google Scholar. It works with some of our other databases. So if you have not done this and downloaded this yet, I encourage you to do it. Again, I'm getting all of these options. So in addition to the PubMed or the Libkey Nomad, you can also have this EndNote Click. And what I like about EndNote Click is if we click on this first title, let's see if it finds it. So it found the article for me. So with EndNote Click, if I click on this View PDF, so again, this is a browser plugin that you can download. There's information on how to download it. If you go back and you click on option right here, and so if you just click on that link, that will give you instructions for how to download it. But what I like is that you can annotate, you can save it, you can download the PDF, but then with one click of a button, I can export it to EndNote. So, and it's probably magically doing it right now. So what it does, it automatically downloaded this citation for me. And so then if I just open up this citation, it will open it up in EndNote for me. So I think that that's fabulous. Let me, whenever I'm doing research and I'm quickly looking through articles, if I find one that I really am interested in and I want to take a look at it later, I can just quickly click on EndNote Click and then download it to my EndNote account. So I really think that this is a nice feature that Web of Science has done to integrate Web of Science and EndNote better. And again, it's because of they're owned by both the same company.